Hello guys and welcome back to another Fan Factory Friday, and today we're checking out Eytha's save. Now I'll be honest, at this point I thought I had seen everything. Well, this 600 hour odd save has done it once again, and I think you'll either love it or you'll hate it, but I don't want to spoil it for you, so let's jump right in. Now this is a big save, so you'll have to forgive me, but for this we're going to have to shut the power down, or else this will quickly become a PowerPoint presentation. My only issue is there isn't a single power plant, as Eytha has made use of all the geothermal power plants, as well as a handful of coal and fuel generators that are scattered around the map, providing him with 12,000 megawatts of power. But he's hardly scraping half of that limit. Now this factory is extensively built, and all of which done painstakingly by hand, as this is a pure vanilla build, that's no mods. His largest factory and main project is built in the grasslands, and with the lack of quality nodes nearby, Eytha resolves this problem by making great use of trains, collecting resources throughout the map, and at the same time drawing the power to the main grid by connecting geothermal power plants to local train stations. But before we get inside the main factory and talk about his future project, let's check out the outer factories. Starting in the rocky desert, let's check out his copper factory. This build is currently dedicated to producing steamed copper sheets, and he has plenty of space to expand this factory. However, what I want to draw our attention to firstly is his build style. The outside of the factory is a really nice combination of glass and the two wall types, which look surprisingly good together. The inside has a walkway and a further wall separating the industrial area from a public causeway, I guess we could say, a style you'll see repeated throughout his builds. On the lower floor, we have the copper ingots being produced using the copper alloy alternate recipe and then brought up to his refineries. The piping looks great being suspended and brought down to the refineries and allows for some really clean build lines. If we draw our attention above the water bus, we also have a really nice walkway made with the glass foundations and rails. Now it's clear that this factory style is inspired by being able to see how everything is running inside the factory without needing to step onto the factory floor itself. And as the copper sheets are produced, they are sent to the train station situated next door. Now, you may love this idea or hate it, but personally, I think it's great. Eytha has lowered the train ever so slightly into the foundation. Now, there is a logical reason for this. Yes, it looks good in my opinion, but also it allows players to walk or drive over the rail without having to climb over it. So justifiably, I'd argue it's aesthetic and usable clipping. And do bear in mind, we are going to see a little bit more of this aesthetic clipping throughout his build. And as we head back to the main factory, we stop off at the Oil Islands, where he has another factory. Straight off the bat, I love the diversity of heights within the build. And again, he has a large selection of fuel plants, which, yes, do clip through the roof. However, I really like this look. And with the chimney platforms poking through, it looks like it's part of the build. And on the inside, this diversity continues with the refineries dwarfing the generators, but separated by this walkway. Now, I must admit, I'm really impressed with this. Throughout the refinery, we have more causeways separating the refinery sections, and in the largest refinery sections, I love the double-tier walkways, another little detail which I think really works for this build. The tallest section of this factory produces a multitude of late-tier items such as alclad aluminium or aluminum sheets, supercomputers, computers, and AI limiters, which are then sent to the train station to be sent back to the main factory. At this point, I really want to say how much I love the railways, which are nicely uniformed and are all one-way track systems. At this point, it's also really easy to notice his highways for vehicles to take him from the main factory to the various outer ones, and I must admit he has a lot of dedication to individually paint each one of these foundations, but it really does look great, and I especially love the diagonal foundations. Along the way back to the main factory, we have various other smaller factories producing a variety of important resources to be used throughout his build. And upon reaching the main factory, I should mention that this should be seen more as a main depot for his trains to drop off resources before sending them on to his new project, which is going to be a recycling mega factory. Although it's less of a mega factory in the usual sense, as he's building a factory city with a series of skyscrapers, each producing the items he needs. And this is done with the idea of bringing all the items into the factory via the rail on the lower floors and along with vehicles before ascending to the main factory. Now, as this is work in progress and we've still got a fair amount to get through, we'll leave this here and hopefully we'll be able to check it out at a later date. I mean, returning to the depot, it's clear Eytha has plenty of room to expand, but this is really a hotbed of ideas and where he came up with the idea of separating each factory with inner walls. In this section, he really does take top-down feeding to heart, and I know a lot of people will have problems with this section as he does clip the belts through the floor, but I do have to show it. And I know this build would actually look stunning with a foundations mod, but I again have to stress that this is vanilla. But as it is, it does break up the aesthetics of the build, but at the same time, he's chosen not to delete this factory as it would take a huge amount of time. So understandably, he's just moved on to building other factories, and in my opinion, he's really perfected the other ones. One idea that you can really see here is that he hides a lot of the mess away behind these walls. And if we take a look under the factory, we can really gain an understanding of how much is going on here with conveyor lines spanning biomes. It's humongous. And to top it all off, how could we finish this build without checking out his stations underneath the depot? I love the use of the foundation half pipes as tunnel entrances, and though I'm not a huge fan of the blue, yellow and green all together, I feel it works pretty well. And again, I love the sunken rails before we arrive at a storage system, which is currently unused but looks great. And what Eytha's informed me is that this is going to be a looped system so that they can see when there are gaps in the resources in this storage line. And I look forward to really seeing it running. But unfortunately, once again, we've surpassed our time limit, so we'll have to wait until we see this a little further down the line. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this fan factory tour, then please do hit the thumbs up and also let me know what you think about the various moments of clipping. Does it grind on you, or has Eytha made some rather aesthetic clips in your eyes? Also, if you do like my content, don't forget you can join me over on Twitch or on here for regular content. The schedule is below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, until next time, ciao for now.